Hello, my babies. I am so excited to see you today. If this message found you, then Spirit must have a message for you today. We are doing a card reading. This is your message of the day. Today, we are going to use the Starseed Oracle by Rebecca Campbell, and as well as some traditional tarot for you. So let's go ahead and jump right into it. And I have already prepared my energy for this reading. I have connected with my guides and connected with spirit, and um, only love and light is allowed into this space as I read for you today. So I trust that you will find this reading to be just extremely helpful and nurturing, and for your highest good only. So let's see what messages that Spirit has for you today. Oh my gosh. Again, jumping cards. The last reading I did for you guys, this deck has really been speaking to us this past couple of readings because again, this card jumped out. So this card is the Void. And look, it's like it's just really black. There's not a lot on it. And so when I get this card, the Void is essentially about, well, if we read the description on the card, it says, "Stop, embrace winter, great cosmic womb." And so when I think of the void, I do think of something similar to a womb, like something gestating, right? Something being in stillness because it's growing, it's being prepared for something, right? We go within and we be still when something is being created, like a seed grows beneath the soil and we can't really see what's happening while it's underground, sort of thing. It's about, the stillness that happens before a manifestation is about to come to fruition. So let me just connect with this for a minute and see if any other messages come through. Yeah, just preparing for something new to emerge. Um, Everything and nothing exists in the void. It's where all life begins and ends. It's the winter and the womb, the fertile darkness where all things originate and seeds grow. Comforting and intimidating, freeing and daunting. It can feel both overwhelmingly small and huge. The void is where faith lives. The message of the void is to surrender to the unknown, to allow the fertile darkness of nothingness to nourish the new seeds growing within you. Regardless of whether you know what they'll one day become, you're being called to surrender to the mystery of what's next. Yes, surrender. That's a big word. Yeah, that's really significant. Surrendering. And how it said how faith lives. I just wanted to share, you know, faith is not believing when everything is going great, right? Faith is holding the vision when it seems like nothing is happening. So I just wanted to insert that there. You're being called to surrender to the mystery of what's next, to rest, and to allow the winter of your life to do the work for you, to hand over your control and trust that just because you can't see what's happening beneath the surface, it doesn't mean that things are not at work. The greatest weavings happen when we find a way to surrender and trust that our life is being knitted for us right beneath the surface in ways known and unknowable. Now is the time to cultivate faith and allow deep, deep rest. The void often surfaces at the end of a chapter or life phase when we're called to let go of all that we know and identify with. When you're in the void, it can feel scary and as if you should be doing something. However, when this card appears, it's a sure sign that the most productive thing that you can do is to relinquish control and surrender to the changing mystery of your life. There's that word surrender again. How are you being called to surrender to the unknown mystery of your life? I love that. I think that this is especially relevant today as we are dealing with a lot of uncertainty with our country and with the world at large. You know, the country is going through some challenging times, and I just pray for our leaders. And I pray for the people in the country of Iran. I pray that they will have a peace that passes all understanding just come over them so that they might make decisions that lead us to more peaceful outcomes, right? And so the void is about, remaining faithful that something good is going to come out of everything that is happening, even though what we see may not be something that we understand. We must believe, because if we do not believe it, then there is no hope for us to see it at some point, right? And so our faith is more important now than ever. So let's do some tarot um, to really just back this message up and get some even more clarification here. Thank you, Spirit. What else do you need us to know today? Mm, wow. Okay, wow. Okay. So the first card that I pulled was the Nine of Wands. This card is about courage, persistence, a test of faith, and resilience. So yeah, I mean, this card is, you've really been going through it. You've been really feeling the challenges of, continuing on and, forging through and paving a pathway forward, bringing your dream into reality. And it hasn't been easy, right? It's been hard work, and it has taken courage and resilience. You've had obstacles and you've really had to keep going despite those obstacles. And I just want to say I'm so proud of you for continuing on. The next card is the Tower. And so it's the Tower in reverse here. And so this card is about personal transformation when it comes in the reverse card. It's about fear of change and awaiting disaster. But and because it's in reverse, um, it is about, well, so when it is not in reverse, it is about sudden change, upheaval, chaos, revelation, awakening, and recalibration. But because it's in reverse, it's more about uh, the feeling on the inside, right? It's not necessarily about this sudden change and upheaval as much as it is about the fear of that and the kind of, holding in your mind, fear and anxiety essentially. So, in reverse as the personal transformation, um, I think that something is shifting within us. And so let's look at the rest of the cards to get the full picture here. The next card is the Seven of Swords, and that one is upright. This card is about betrayal, deception, getting away with something and acting strategically, right? Um, and so within the context of the Tower card that I just pulled, I really see this as um, I'm not getting that this is about betrayal and deception. I'm getting that because the Tower was in reverse, and this is about a personal transformation. It is about going within and recognizing that there is something that we can do. We so. This card is really about, okay, so acting strategically, right? Like this guy is, the story of this card is that he is in a battle with someone, and instead of him fighting in the traditional way by, wielding his sword and, doing traditional fighting. He is instead stealing the swords and running away with them. Like, what a smart idea, right? Like, he's coming up with a creative way to fight this battle. He's stealing the enemy's swords so that they can't create more chaos and conflict, right? And so if we think in terms of the tower in reverse and that personal transformation that I was mentioning, that is one way that we can act strategically by going within and looking at, how is our perspective and the thoughts that we are holding inside, how can we fight that battle from within instead of fighting it on the outside in actual fighting, right? And so I always like to say journaling and self-reflection is an excellent way to do that. Um, so going within and looking at, what is the state of our thoughts and how is that causing us to show up? And how might that be? How might the thoughts that we are holding in our mind be attracting some of this conflict, or maybe even just playing tricks with our mind? Maybe we are seeing conflict because that's what we are expecting, right? Um, Let's take a look at the next card for even more context. Okay, the next card that came up is the Three of Swords, and that is about heartbreak, emotional pain, sorrow, grief, and hurt, right? So that's kind of what is happening is that so many of us, especially in the country, are feeling this sense of heartbreak, emotional pain, sorrow, grief, and hurt. And so, what I'm getting from this card is this is what we are going within to heal, right? This is where we need a personal transformation. We need to go within and we need to take a look at where is this heartbreak, emotional pain, sorrow, grief, and hurt coming from? Um, and the next card is the Queen of Cups in reverse. So the Queen of Cups traditionally, when she is upright, is about compassion. She is compassionate. She is caring. She is extremely stable emotionally, and she is intuitive, and she is in flow, right? She is connected to the source of all well-being. She knows how to manage her energy in a way that brings her all of this that brings her peace, that brings her stability, that brings her abundance. Cups are about relationships, and she knows how to handle herself in relationships. She knows how to manage her emotions so that she can rule her kingdom with sovereignty, right? So the goal is to be that Queen of Cups energy. But because she was in reverse, okay, I always love thinking of the reverse cards. So when I like to think, so sometimes when if I'm writing down that a card is in reverse, I write down like I think of RX as I write it as RX, right? Like if I ever have to record a reading in writing, and if I'm writing it down, I say, like, I write the Queen of Cups RX, right? To signify that it's in reverse. But I love that because I think of the reverse cards as the prescription, right? RX represents prescription. And so I love thinking of the reverse cards when they're showing up. That is the medicine. It's kind of like the medicine that we need to address internally so that we can see the results we're looking for on the outside, right? As within, so without. And so, because the Queen of Cups is showing up in reverse here, Spirit is telling us that we need to pay attention to our inner feelings, our self-care, our self-love, our codependency. So, by going within, and looking at the ways that we are feeling that betrayal, that deception, that getting away with something, right? Like those kind of things. By applying love and self-care, we can we can have our personal transformation, the tower in reverse, right? We can have a personal transformation that allows us to reach that place of um, the peace that passes understanding. What is the peace that passes understanding? I love to think of it as the when everything outside of you is in chaos, right? Just like it is right now in the world, when everything around you is in chaos, what is our job? Our job is to go within and do not conform, but be transformed by the renewing of your mind. That is the medicine, you guys. Um, yeah, I don't think really I have much more to say except, you know, let me just take a look at this whole spread as a whole and see if there's anything else I'd like to contribute to that. Okay, you know what? I do. I have one more thing. I want to pull one more card. And the card that I'm going to pull is let's get one more card to show us what will happen if we all collectively go within and we heal ourselves from within and we focus on the beautiful vision of what we want to see in the world and we apply self-love to our inner vision and we trust that everything is always working out for us. If we do that, if we hold that Queen of Cups, if we do our best to embody that compassionate, caring, emotionally stable, and intuitive Queen of Cups energy, what happens when we do that? Thank you, Spirit. Okay. Okay. So I pulled the Eight of Coins in reverse. Okay. So upright, this card represents apprenticeship, repetitive tasks, mastery, skill development. And in reverse, it is about, again, about self-development, but it could also lead to perfectionism and misdirected activity. But I am not, that is not what I am getting from this card. When I am getting, again, self-development, this is the second time that self-development is showing up in the reading. And so, what I am getting from this card is that there will be a shift in the way that we steward our craft, right? Our craft represents, how we are serving the world. And Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Okay. So, Eight of Coins in reverse. It's about how we are serving the world. And so when we show up in that Queen of Cups energy, we will cultivate a new way of serving the world that gives us different results. And so I pulled one extra card because it just seemed like it was really coming forward. And that was the Four of Swords. And so that's about rest, relaxation, meditation, contemplation, and recuperation, right? And so when we adjust how we are serving the world, it will bring us a sense of peace and recuperation, right? And so it will allow us to put our collective minds at ease and recuperate and leave behind what no longer serves us. Let's just get one more. Yeah. Okay. So this is the Four of Wands, and it was in reverse. So upright, it usually means celebration, harmony. It could be in marriage, home, or community. Um, in reverse, it means a breakdown in communication and transition. And so I really think that collectively we haven't been listening to our guidance. There's been a breakdown in communication. And this guidance is showing us that we need to be more creative in terms of how we approach situations. We need to, instead of, we need, in order to initiate this transition, we need to be creative and strategic, more creative and strategic in a different kind of way. We need to steal the swords of the enemy, and the enemy is that part of us that wants to believe that everything is going to hell, that everything is going to shit. And we need to adopt the perspective of the Queen of Cups. The medicine is to do whatever we can to adopt that compassionate, caring, and emotionally stable energy, to apply it from within so that we can see a transition in the way that we serve the world, in the way that we craft what it is that we are doing. And then we will find rest and peace and recuperation. Um, yeah. Okay. So I trust that you found this reading to be helpful. Let me know in the comments if you like these, and if I should keep doing them, or if you have any specific questions that you would like me to ask Spirit. I'd be happy to share them with you. Thank you so much. I love you. Keep going. We've got this. Good things are coming.